Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, and welcome to my May recap. So this is a series where I basically talk about things that were prominent in my life in the previous month, mostly beauty products, occasionally non-beauty products, especially if they're important to me. I do have something like that. I'll leave it for the end, but I'm gonna, oh my god, I'm so burpy. I'm sorry. I've been drinking soda water with cordial, and soda water makes me really burpy, like even more so than other soft drink type things. Anyway, I'm gonna start with tools. So in May, I did a first impression review and demo of the LA Cosmetics I See the Light brush set. So this is a brush set. I believe it's 15-piece brush set. I think the brushes, hang on, I need the info. Okay, it's a 12-piece brush set. It retails for 85 Australian dollars. So it works out to like $7, just a little bit over $7 Australian per brush. Now, some of you will know that I love luxe brushes. I have a very large collection of extremely expensive brushes, and that is where my passion lies. I absolutely adore them. However, I also really like affordable, good quality brushes because I think it's the best way to bulk out a collection. Eye brushes for me are my most used, and I do like a brush clean once a month. So I will use brushes, and then after about a week or maybe 10 days, depending on how often I've used the brush, it'll go into a tub, and once a month I will clean all of the brushes in that tub. So I need a lot of eye brushes because I use a lot of eye brushes. Face brushes, I got plenty. I got them coming out the wazoo and I can't even go through them. But in a month, I can use a good majority of my eye brush collection. I found all of the brushes to be quite useful. There's lots of good blending brushes in here, packing brushes. There's a lot of brushes to do detail work. So this one gets a tick of approval for me. I think it's great. I love the mint handles. I love the rose gold ferrules. The quality of the bristles, they are synthetic, but they're a really nice quality. I'm really happy with this little collection of brushes. I'm very grateful that LA Cosmetics sent them to me. I will link the demo and review video in the description box. There is something that I failed to mention in that video. Beauty News has a discount code. It's a non-affiliated discount code, so the only benefit of using it is for you guys to get a discount. It's BN10 and it gives you 10% off. So if you watch that video and you want to buy these, or if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I need eye brushes, use that code because it's going to get you 10% off your purchase. My next brush is this guy. So this is the IT Cosmetics Love is the foundation brush. It's in the shape of a love heart. Where are we? There we go. It's a love heart. Again, this is a synthetic brush. It is a foundation brush. I'm loving the handle. So the handle is like a clear acrylic with love heart glitters encased in it. Got the metallic ferrule. Oh my god, I am so burpy. It's inappropriate. Don't drink soda water when you're filming, Hayley. Now, this was sent by a subscriber and I think it was a non. I'm pretty sure it was a non. If it wasn't a non, I'm very sorry. I have a really bad memory with like remembering names and pretty much anything. I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad. This is a really beautiful little foundation brush. I've been using it recently. I've had it for a long time and never got around to using it, but I put it out because I thought I should really try that. And it's predominantly been my foundation brush throughout May and even a little bit of April. So this is now going in the tub of brushes that needs to be washed because it's quite dirty. But I'm loving that brush. Not only is it nice to look at, but it gives a really beautiful finish on the skin. It's not streaky, it applies nicely. I dig it, I dig it. Okay, makeup. I did a CoverGirl Outlast Active wear test this month. So some of the range, these three guys, the liner, mascara and setting mist, we got them at the Beauty Prescription Live for Priceline, and then the CoverGirl PR reached out and offered to send us some foundations, which we accepted. I did a wear test on this. It held up really nicely. The only downside to this is that I got quite oily quite quickly, but the benefit of it is that it looks like skin. It offers really good coverage. You can either do a thin layer and just have like a little bit of coverage, or you can do a second layer or even apply it with a brush and it'll give you a more fuller coverage. But it doesn't look thick or heavy on the skin, which I love. It does get shiny. That's okay because it doesn't break down under the oils and get like gunky or chunky or look gross. I just found that I had to blot it quite often. I wouldn't say that this would ever be a holy grail foundation for me because it does need to be babysat, but I do enjoy it and I will happily use the colors that match me. Then we had the mascara and the eyeliner. Now, my winner of these two is the eyeliner. It's got a really nice fine tip applicator, which I enjoyed. It is a brush tip. The formula doesn't dry matte though, so if you really like a matte black eyeliner, then you might not totally be into this. But it lasts really well and it's super black, super black, super opaque. You don't have to like build it up or anything. I really like that. It's staying in the stash. The CoverGirl Lashblast Active Mascara. I don't mind this. It's not a fave though. I find this is good for like everyday mascara. Maybe going to the gym mascara. It doesn't lengthen or volumize a whole lot. It just defines what mama gave you basically. So I don't dislike it. I like my mascaras to be like more vroom, give me more of what I don't have. Whereas this just accentuates what you do have. Then we have the setting mist. This is the Outlast Active Cooling Setting Mist. This smells like cucumber. I'm going to give myself a little spritz now. I do love the scent of this. My only issue with this is that it contains denatured alcohol as the second ingredient. Now, denatured alcohol is not, and many other alcohols are not really great for the skin, especially if you're trying to prevent the aging. If you're trying to slow it down, you're trying to be like, I'm aging enough as it is. I want my skincare and my makeup not to like speed that process up. Alcohols are something that you want to avoid, unless it's like a fatty acid alcohol. They're pretty good. They're good for your skin. So if you're curious about alcohols, I recommend doing your research on them. Denatured alcohol, not one of the good alcohols. So I actually wouldn't recommend this because it contains denatured alcohol as the second ingredient. However, I am going to use it. I enjoy the mister on it. I enjoy the scent. I'm just going to use it really sparingly. And if it takes me a whole year to use it up, then fine, that's all good. I won't repurchase it, but I really like the scent. I think if CoverGirl could go back to the drawing board on the formula and maybe get rid of anything that's a little bit not good for the skin, I would be screaming this thing's praises. So that's my feelings on that one. More makeup, and it's all the palettes. So these are what have been prominent in my life in May. Let's start with the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. So I put this in my project pan to like play with it for the month, and I just I don't love this. I love the color story. This is a very me color story, reds and oranges and stuff like that. I dig it. I really like it. But I'm just not super impressed with Natasha Denona quality. And a big part of that is the price as well. That is like the thing that's forefront in my mind. These are very expensive palettes. And I just find that specifically the mattes is where I have an issue. I find like one that comes to mind is this dark sort of cool tone chocolatey brown shade. It went on so patchy and didn't look great. So I would, you know, put it on and blend it out. It'd be a bit patchy, and then I'd tap some product over it to get rid of the patchiness, and then I'd have to blend it so that it didn't look like I just plonked eyeshadow on there, and the patchiness would come back, and it was just like this repeated struggle. And I found that with a few of the shades. I also found that for some reason they like skip on the inner corner, and that's not totally, like, that's not really unusual for me, because the skin in here on my eye for me is a little bit more lax. So some eyeshadows do skip, but I find if the formula is really smooth and has a really good pigmentation, it's easily avoided. It's okay, little sneak peek of the next thing that I'm going to talk about. This guy, the Queen of Hearts, this doesn't skip on me. It just goes on like a beautiful silky dream, whereas these skip, and I found that they just went on a bit patchy. And I'm talking mostly the mattes, like the shimmers and stuff I like, but yeah, I'm just not blown away. I'm not loving it. And I'm struggling because her new palette that she's releasing, or has released, or I don't know, it's coming soon, something. It's got lots of reds in it, and I kind of want it. But I'm concerned that if I buy it and I'm disappointed with the formula, I'm gonna be annoyed at myself because I already don't love this. So I don't know. I'm torn. It's very difficult. I don't know. I know a lot of people love Natasha Denona, but I don't know. I think the price really sets me off. One that I really loved, like, I'm obsessed with this. I'm wearing it today with a red glitter from Dawn Eyes Cosmetics. This is the glitter in Devoted. It is a like ruby red, sparkly, beautiful. Colored Raine. This is the Queen of Hearts palette. So Glam Radar recently started stocking Colored Raine. Oh my god, brain dead. And they sent a PR package with some palettes. I took home this one. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The quality of these eyeshadows is fucking outstanding. Like, these are really, really good. Super pigmented, they blend really easily, they don't go on patchy, even when I get them in here and it's like, uh-oh, we've got some skipping happening. I take a smaller brush, like, let me find something, something like this guy, who's still a fluffy brush, but he's smaller. And I just get in there and just give it a little work back and forth, and the skipping is gone. The formula of this is so smooth and delicious. Like, I want to eat these. The metallics are super punchy. They have their own grip. They're just, oh, you're a fucking beautiful palette. You're a beautiful baby. And I think I remember, I don't know if this is correct, but when that palette came out, I was kind of like, I don't need that. But now that I've tried the formula, I'm like, I need that. And I need it so badly that I bought every palette that they have available. They're coming soon. Okay, next, let's talk about a palette that I didn't love before I talk about another palette that I do love. This is the Too Faced Sugar Pop eyeshadow palette. So again, this one was in my project pan. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. At all. Blackberry, which is like a pretty sort of dark purple shade. Oh, it frustrated me. It went on patchy. It was difficult to blend. I couldn't do it. I also played with Macaron, which is that sort of peachy shade with glitter in it. Malted Milk Ball was another one that I played with. I feel like Too Faced has two types of eyeshadow formula. Really good and really shit. And I kind of put this in the really shit pile. I didn't enjoy this. This will not survive a declutter. That is what I can tell you about that. Another palette. This is the Nars Exposed Cheek palette. Okay, so I bought this on a whim when I was out with a couple of subscribers, actually. We were shopping at Chadstone, and I was browsing before they arrived in Mecca, and this caught my eye. And I went into Mecca with the girls, and I was like, oh, I think I like this. And they're like, oh, it's very beautiful. And they were actually out of stock in Mecca Maxima. So I was like, oh, okay, I can't get it. That's a shame. It's very beautiful. And Madeline said, well, why don't we just go down to Mecca Cosmetica? They might have them in stock. So we did, and they did, and here I am. This is one of my newest face additions, and this palette is fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful. I like all of the shades. The one that I struggle with a little bit is this one. I find that whenever I use it, itchy. Whenever I use it, it kind of clings to my face. So maybe that's the only dud in the palette for me. But I'm still gonna like continue to play with it to see if I can make it work, because I really like the color. This highlighter, I was like, look, it's, you know, it is what it is. I don't need that, but I like the rest of the palette. It turns out that this is like my favorite thing in the palette. So it's called Tell All. So this is kind of like a champagne shimmery glowy highlighter. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Oh, there we go. You might be able to get a little flash of it. But I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. It doesn't accentuate my texture. Adds a tiniest little bit of sparkle, but also just glowy. I fucking love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you girls for encouraging me to buy it. I'm very happy with that purchase. All right, next item. This is from Mind Tan. This is the Ultra Hydrating Rose Color Base Illuminating Facial Mist. So this is a hydrating gradual tan facial mist infused with soothing rose water. Okay, for starters, this smells like raw ingredients and yuck. I do not like the scent of this. Second, this has like a, actually, I don't want to spray this in case I get it on my carpet, on my new rug. No, it's got a bit of a like spitting mist. So it's not a fine facial mist. It sort of spits. Sometimes you get like big splotches here and then no product somewhere else. And then being a gradual tan, it develops into a tan in that sort of pattern on your face, like the mist pattern. It made my skin look so like just dirty. That's the only way I can describe it. Now, maybe it would be cool if you wanted to like mist this on your face and then rub it in, but for me that defeats the purpose of it being in a mist at all. Like it could just be in a liquid bottle that I could apply to like a tanning mitt or something like that. But yeah, I think something that would really improve this is if it had a micro fine mister, so it's not leaving like big splotches of you know, tanning fluid on your face. Yeah, I just don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not into it. I look forward to decluttering you. Okay, my last products are non-beauty related. So if you're not interested in seeing this, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. But if you're still here, you might be looking for an update on this. Yeah, I got them. Okay, so these are the Game of Thrones limited edition Scotches or whiskies, Scotch whiskey. And essentially, okay, if you don't watch all of my recaps, you would be forgiven for not knowing this. But they released a full collection of these. So there's 8 in a range, and essentially what this is a collaboration between the Game of Thrones property and 8 Scottish whiskey distilleries. Now, in Australia, they launched 7 of these whiskies, and I spotted them in store and I was like, okay, I gotta get some of them. And I didn't buy any at the time that I saw them. I waited until I got paid, and then I went in to my local bottle shop and they only had a few left. And I was like, oh, what happened to them all? And the guy's like, these are selling out so fast. So I purchased one there, and then I went on this mad hunt to find the others, and I found 6 in the range. Now, there was one that was launched in Australia that I couldn't get. It was the House Baratheon, which is the Royal Lochnagar, is that right? It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 12 years. When I did my first recap on these, I featured these first in a video, I had a comment from someone who I believe is probably Scottish, and she said she thought it was hilarious listening to me try and pronounce the whiskey distilleries, because clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I couldn't get House Baratheon here. It was sold out everywhere. It was an absolute nightmare, and I was just like, I need that fucking whiskey. I need it. I need the House Baratheon. I need the Stag. So anyway, that one was on my wish list and I was hunting it down. And then there was one that wasn't even released in Australia. And that is because it is the House Tyrrell, which is the Clinalish, is that right? Clinalish Reserve. Again, a single malt. This didn't release in Australia because of licensing issues. Now, we have a winery, a wine company, a wine thing called Tyrrell Wines. So they couldn't get the rights to sell it here, which I understand, it's fine. I went hunting for these online and they were sold out everywhere, and I was getting so frustrated. And I'd seen them listed on an auction house, the whiskey, I think it's called Whiskey Auctioneer. Yeah, so it's whiskeyauctioneer.com, and this is not an ad for them, but I really want to mention them because the service that I had with them was fucking phenomenal. So anyway, I found this guy on the website and I was like, oh, I want to bid on that. So while I was there, and I'm like, oh, do I do this? Am I doing this? It's going to be really expensive. It's in pounds and these are expensive. So, you know, by the time you go through the conversion and stuff like that and shipping it to Australia, it's expensive. But then I noticed that they also had this guy and he was much more affordable. And I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. So I signed up to this auction website and it's legit. I knew it was legit when you had to pay a fee to become a member to bid. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but here in Australia, Many auction houses, they require you to pay a fee to get a bidder number, and yeah, it's just kind of the way it is. Not all auction houses do it, but when I noticed that they had that as like a sign-up prerequisite, I was like, okay, I think these guys are pretty legit. So anyway, I bid on the whiskies, I won the whiskies, and I had the whiskies shipped to me. By the time I paid for shipping and these guys, it was an embarrassingly large amount of money. But what I loved about this experience was it was shipped to me. It arrived within about, I think it was like 2.5 days, 2.5 or 3 days. It was shipped DHL Express, and it was delivered to me on a Sunday afternoon, and I was terrified when I was opening this box. I was opening it in the lounge room. I was holding my breath, and I was like, I'm saying to Mum, what if they're broken? If they're broken, I'm gonna cry. They were not broken. They were immaculate. They packed these boxes, like, I could tell they knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. So I got the one that did not launch in Australia. You go down there, little box. So I've got the one that didn't launch in Australia, House Tyrell, and I've got the one that did launch in Australia but was so hard to come by that I literally couldn't find it anywhere. So now I have the whole collection of Game of Thrones Scotches. I don't even drink Scotch, but maybe one day I will drink these. When I did my recap video on the 6 that I had managed to purchase in Australia, I had a lot of people like suggesting which ones to drink, but I don't know, I think they're all gonna be good. Maybe they won't, I don't know. But the overall winner, people were saying the Oban, drink the Oban. I went to the bottle shop last night because I wanted to buy a bottle for someone, and they had just the standard Oban. And I actually, like, I stopped and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I could buy you, and then I wouldn't have to drink my Game of Thrones one. But look, I don't even drink Scotch, so I think one day I will probably drink them. I think I'll just save them for like a special occasion. So I finally managed to finish my Game of Thrones whiskey collection. I'm pretty chuffed with myself. Cost me a small fortune, but I do love them. All right, guys, so that's it for my May beauty and non-beauty recap. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave any comments that you like down in the comments section. It is all yours, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.